Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So a few videos ago, you might have seen that I did this TBR swap with Sofia at Fictional Lives, and I'm here to make my wrap up for that because I know I said I might do a vlog, but I figured out that I'm terrible at vlogging, actually terrible. So I'm gonna do this wrap up instead. Let's first do the few books I didn't read from that video she made, and I'll link the TBR she made me somewhere or down below because she's honestly way better at describing these books than I am. But I'm just gonna give you my impressions, starting off with the three that I didn't read and explaining why I didn't read them. So the three that I didn't get to were The Song of Achilles, The Sun Is Also a Star, and Tyler Johnson Was Here. Mostly because I was too scared of reading sad books. What I'm reading does tend to have an effect on my mental health, and I was just a little bit scared to read it. Books with heavy subject material tend to get to me, and I don't know, it wasn't like the right time. I still really want to read The Sun Is Also a Star, especially because I've been seeing the ads for that trailer and it looks fantastic. So I definitely still want to check it out. And The Song of Achilles, obviously, because I've heard so many good things about it. And also Tyler Johnson Is Here just because it seems so good and the subject material is super important. Again, I just have to take myself to task and read it. And I'm pretty sure when I do, I will absolutely love it. Now on to the four books I did read. The first one I read was The Darkest Part of the Forest by Holly Black. I read it first because it was fantasy and I was really intrigued in reading something else by Holly Black because I do really like her. I love the Spider Chronicles and I love The Court Prince. So I picked it up and I loved it. It was amazing. I gave it 4 stars just because some of the pacing had a little bit of issue for me, but the characters were fantastic. I love sci-fi and fantasy, but I love it more when sci-fi and fantasy doesn't focus solely on plot or world building and weaves in very good character development. That's kind of the main reason I love The Queen's Thief. And while I have gotten kind of tired of Fae stories, I'm not really tired of Holly Black's just because she is able to incorporate that kind of character arcs that just are so appealing to me. I really wanted a sequel to this book just because the characters were so awesome and I wanted to see how their futures were and how they're progressing. The 2 siblings, oh, I loved their relationship. I loved the romantic relationships in the book. Just everything was great. I loved it a lot. The next book on the list was The Princess and Dressmaker by Jen Wang. This was so cute. I read it in a day, I think. Literally a day. It was fantastic. Adorable. The art was spectacular. And just, it's just so cute. Everyone in it is so cute and the ending was so happy. And I fully recommend it if you want something light and fun and that'll make your heart sing, you know? I think that's a thread with the books Sofia recommends. They're either crush your heart or they'll just make you so light and happy and just all the time, which is why I tend to follow so many recommendations from her because they're all just fantastic books. And then I read What If It's Us by Becky Albertalli and Adam Silvera. Okay, again, this book was 4 stars and it was super cute and I loved it, and I listened to it on audiobook, which is a great idea. You should listen to the audiobook of this book because it's amazing. There's a kind of anxious energy about the first part of this book that I kind of love. It felt so realistic. It was a little bit tough to get through at the beginning just because oh my god, I just need them to meet now and I feel so anxious for them. But it's so authentic. It's how summer romances should work, and it's how, teens work. They were able to capture that feeling of teenage crushes, and it just felt so real to me, and I think that's the power of Becky Albertalli and Adam Silvera. And I think the ending was also kind of a mix of their powers, where Becky Albertalli is amazing happy endings and Adam Silvera's terribly sad endings. The styles were kind of mixed and I fell in love with it. So yeah, the single star was docked just because the very beginning was a little bit anxiety inducing for me, but overall, of course I recommend it. Everyone in the entirety of booktube has recommended it, so you should definitely read it. And the last one is an Alice Oseman book, which Sophia, again, has been recommending to me forever. And I read Radio Silence by Alice Oseman. I really liked it. Again, I gave it 4 stars. The single stars just dropped because I thought it dragged a little bit in the middle, which is kind of hard for me to get through contemporary if it drags a little bit. But once I got over that sort of slow bit in the middle, everything picked up and everything came together so nicely. And honestly, the characters' like anxieties about school hit just a little bit too close to home sometimes, a little bit, which was uncomfortable, but in a very good way. The characterizations, again, amazing. I loved how soft and good the characters were, and just even characters that I didn't expect to be good characters sort of came together and ended up being like they came back around sort of, and were just some of my favorite characters. You can see why Alice Oseman has such a big sort of cult following in a way, just because of how atmospheric and well built her books are. I would recommend Alice Oseman's Radio Silence, and I will definitely try to pick up a few more of her books from now on. So I'm so glad that I got to do this because it forced me to pick up books that I maybe wouldn't have otherwise, and I got to read more of Sophia's taste in books, which is a little bit different from mine, a little more contemporary, a little more atmospheric and soft. And I'm so glad that we were able to do this and that I was able to finish at least 4 of these books, and I love them all so much. So everyone go check out Sophia's channel. She's an amazing booktuber and just one of my favorite people on BookTube. And if you've read any of these books that were on her list, or do you think that I should read other books that are similar to this, please let me know, and I'll see you next time.